With the football team just now beginning preparations for the Orange Bowl matchup with Miami, we shift our attention to Wisconsin basketball as Greg Gard's Badgers doing all they can to navigate a most challenging non-conference schedule. We'll get you caught up on all things Badger hoops, tell you a little bit about some of the newest players in the roster, and you're seeing a lot of them so far this season. This is also the year that marks the 100th anniversary of one of college basketball's enjoyable rivalries, Wisconsin and Marquette. We'll get the perspective from a couple of the Badgers on what this annual matchup means to them, and we'll have our weekly sit-down with head coach Greg Gard. All coming up on today's edition of the Badger Sports Report.
He'll feed Jamal Kane high on the left. Pass knocked away by Davison. On the run, Howard chasing Brad to the rim, and the layup is good. Bounce pass to Reuvers of the right wing. 36-20, Marquette leads Wisconsin. Reuvers bounces for Davison on the right side. He'll try a three. Good. First three for Davison. Davison to the front court for Wisconsin. It's off to Iverson. A pass for Happ at the top of the circle. Happ for Pritzl. He'll line up a three. He'll take it and make it from the right side. Pritzl in rhythm. Davison baseline left. Inbounds. Happ, he'll catch, he'll finish. Badgers get a quick hitter. Davison floats to Happ. Baseline right. Fakes the handoff to Davison. Happ going to work in the lane. Backhand shot low in the left. Good. It counts and a foul. Oh, what a move by Ethan Happ. Here comes Davison front court for Wisconsin. Bounce to Iverson. Low on the right. Slam dunk. Iverson elevates. Here's Iverson right side. Spinning low on the right. Slam dunk. Khalil Iverson.
Stay together. That's the biggest thing. We've had struggles both years actually, or both my first 2 years of playing here, and that's what we did. We just stayed together and kept fighting and didn't hang up the shoes, and we're just going to keep doing that, keep playing.
They're upset in terms of they're very competitive. They want to have success now, but it's an adjustment. But they'll bounce back. They're a resilient group. We've had an unbelievable stretch here of high-level games and have been competitive, and they've had to deal with a lot. So in time, this will help continue to improve and mature guys, and hopefully in the long run, we'll be better because of it.
This is Wisconsin basketball. Stolen by Ethan Happ. Happ to the rim, and he hammers it down with the right hand. He'll drive to the goal and hammers it down. New York City, the Badgers are coming your way. This is left open, snaps off a three and drills it. Out the court for three, left of the circle, tie game.
The Badger Sports Report is brought to you by Hy-Vee. Where there's a helpful smile in every aisle, Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
This is what collaboration looks like. This is what happens when a cardiologist in Appleton works step in step with specialists at UW Health in Madison. You see, when Terry's condition required a second opinion, his doctor turned to the cardiothoracic team at UW Health. Together, we made sure Terry got the care and the heart transplant he needed. Powerful minds, compassionate care, amazing results. UW Health, remarkable.
That must have been some sale, Patty.
Jim just had to have it. We saved hundreds. You?
I had to have this.
Wow.
Love all of this.
It lights up everything.
Let it pro, let it pro, let it pro with a brand new GMC. It's GMC's first ever Denali season to upgrade. Get 15% below MSRP on the full range of 2017 Denali models. That's nearly $12,000 below MSRP on a GMC Yukon XL Denali.
It's a big rivalry. You know, Wisconsin-Marquette. That's, you know, the big in-state rivalry. It's been that way for a long time, and it will continue to be for a long time. You know, my dad going to Marquette. You know, I kind of had the same decision to go there too, and you know, he would have liked to see me go there, but decided to make my own decision. And you know, it's a big rivalry even in the family. And he wears neutral colors to the game, so he'll probably be wearing the black on Saturday too.
I think it's awesome. Like, it's great. I think in-state rivalries are a really cool thing. Like, I think always playing against teams, you're always going to find a little more intensity in-state game, you know, and I think that the fact that it's gone for 100 years is impressive.
From Camp Randall Stadium to the Kohl Center as we shift our attention now to Wisconsin basketball, navigating as difficult a non-conference schedule as any program in the country, and known for having very challenging non-league schedules here, Greg, but this one, I think, how'd you refer to this, trial by blowtorch? You have the tough schedule and a young team that's trying to deal with it.
One, we've had a lot of tough ones, as you mentioned. This one might, given the circumstances of the roster and the youth on the roster, might be at the top of the list.
It reminds me in some ways of your first year here with Coach Ryan, the travel. It was what, Vegas, Hawaii, back home for about a day, and then to Atlanta to play Georgia Tech. And those were tough games, but the caliber of the opponent here, it just seems one after the other, has been really daunting.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, it's probably not in a normal year how we would exactly set it up. But there was a lot of things that were out of our control and contracts that had to be honored. And obviously the start of the Big Ten here in December has been a new twist to it that's, I think, probably scheduling-wise, we're not the only school that maybe is dealing with a new curveball thrown at us here in the early part of the non-conference, but also our other adjustment is obviously a lot of new faces.
And that's going to continue in the foreseeable future, though, the early Big Ten games.
Because of going to 20 games from next year, starting next year, having 20 conference games. So that'll put 2 in early December, and then we'll reconvene conference play in January.
Well, it took probably a very short period of time for fans to really be excited about your freshman here. We'll get to Nate Reuvers in a second because it was a few games before he got in there. But with Kobe King, with Brad Davison, everybody figured out in a hurry why you recruited them. They're bringing a lot to the party already.
They are, and they're getting a lot of experience here. There haven't been too many freshmen come through the program in the last 20 years. In fact, it's been over 20 years ago since this many freshmen were on the floor together. And Mike Kelly, Andy Kowski, that crew was the last crew that had that many freshmen playing. So it's, you know, there's positives and there's obviously a lot of learning going on with it. But I know our older guys have done a really good job of trying to bring those young guys along and get them up to speed. And obviously we're all learning and growing together.
I thought one of the things that was fascinating to watch, you've had the 3 true freshmen and a lean forward, a redshirt freshman on the floor at crunch time, or at least approaching it. I think back at the game at Temple, they hung in there. They look like they belong.
They have played very well. And obviously there's a lot of little things we need to continue to shore up and polish up and get better at, whether they're a freshman or, I can't say senior because really Aaron's the only one that's been in there a little bit. Everybody else has been a junior or younger. So that'll come as we get more in-game experience and more late-game experience. The nice thing is we've got a lot of late-game experience for the most part because we've been right there nip and tuck with all these teams we played.
With this being the first television show, I know you've talked about this before, but for those who are getting caught up on basketball, walk us through the process of Nate Reuvers. He was on the fence. Do you redshirt? Do you not? Take us through the process that has him on the floor now.
Well, it really started back in the summer. I thought he had a really good summer, played really well on our tour to Australia and New Zealand. And then when we got back to school in September, and I think probably the accumulation of here school starts for real, classes, just the normal progression a big guy goes through. September and October weren't maybe his best months, but then you get back to, we really got into November and he's really started to catch our eye in practice day after day after day. And knowing we were going to have to make a decision, or he was going to have to make a decision, until we were really sure, we just advised him, let's just wait and not play in these first few games, and let's see how you practice. Can you string more together? How do we play? Where do we need your help? What's going to be our deficiencies? And after we got through those first, 3, 4, 5 games, and watching him practice also, I knew he could help us, and he wanted to play. That's always you can tell when a competitor, he did not really want a red shirt. If he had a choice, he wanted to be able to help us. And I think what he brought to the table is shown pretty quickly. Even though he's only played, I think, in 4 or 5 games so far, that he's going to be able to really help us.
You probably want to hear that, too. I mean, sometimes there's an honest assessment. The player knows he isn't ready. This guy really believes he can play. We've seen that. He's, physically he'll get stronger, but he doesn't back down.
Yeah, he's fearless. He's fearless, and that's the nice thing. We can fix the physical part. we can't always fix the fearless and the competitive edge. They either have that innately or they don't. He'll spend another year, another 18 months in the weight room with Coach Helen. He'll be much bigger. We know he's going to get knocked around, and we know there's going to be some bumpy times ahead for him, but he's going to continue to get better and better with more experience.
I want to ask you about a player that fans won't see on the floor in games this year, but will down the road, Trevor Anderson. Don't see him in the games, but he's helping when he can in practice.
He is, yeah. He's really done a great job with our scout team. He really challenges our guards that are in the rotation every day. Very competitive, very good with the ball. Really been impressed. I knew he was a really good player. Obviously, he was a state player of the year back at Spash before he went to Green Bay, and watched him some. But now to be able to watch him through the summer, in here in the fall, he's going to help us down the road. And he's already helped us in terms of making us more competitive in practice and how he challenges our guards. But when that transfer status comes off next year, I think he's going to really be able to add some juice to our lineup.
All right, just a sprinkling of information there on some of the newer Badgers. In the case of Trevor, a guy you will see a lot of beginning next season. Oh, by the way, some of the returning guys aren't bad either. Ethan Happ, about as good as it gets as a frontline player. We'll get Coach Gard's thoughts on that. And also, this schedule continues, and it's not easy. Western Kentucky comes in here on Wednesday. We'll tell you why that's going to be a challenge as we continue with the Badger Sports Report right after this.
This is Lexi Rush. She's 10, and she's amazing. You see, Lexi was born deaf and couldn't hear anything. That was until her doctor in Appleton referred her to the pediatric specialists at UW Health in Madison. Now, 2 operations later, Lexi can hear everything. Powerful minds, compassionate care, amazing results. UW Health. Remarkable.
Bowsy refusing the held screen, the drive, and it threw it away into the hands of Davison. Brad on the push. Howard is back. Davison takes him on to the rim. Layup good. Brad Davison is putting this team on his back.
Clearly, times have changed in basketball. You see it at the NBA level. You're seeing it more and more at the college level. Bigs who can put the ball on the floor. Frank Kaminsky became very, very proficient at that here at Wisconsin before going on to the Charlotte Hornets. We're seeing more and more of it with Ethan Happ as we continue with Badgers head coach Gard. Maybe sometimes you got to throw off the stop sign, but point center, it kind of applies with him.
Well, it's unique, that's for sure. And by and large, he's made pretty good decisions with it. But knowing that his background, he was a guard before he grew, hit that growth spurt middle part of high school. So he does have some awareness, his vision. And like I said, by and large, his decision making has been pretty good, and we've tried to improve upon that. And knowing that it is a weapon, because it is a different look coming down the floor. It gives you more guards to be able to spread the floor. Obviously, it gives you a bigger guy finishing at the rim, and they're not quite sure how to handle him. I kind of watch defenses not quite sure what to do with him when he comes down the floor. Should we take a big, go run with him? Should a first available go run with him? So as long as good decisions are made and a guy is capable of handling the ball and making those decisions, I don't mind, because Frank did it, obviously, as good as any big we've had here. It is another weapon.
He works incredibly hard, doesn't he?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable the amount of time he puts in the game, puts into his shooting, puts into his ball handling, his post game. He is, some days we have to kick him out of the gym, and I'm sure after we leave he sneaks back in. But he's a relentless worker, and that's why he's so good. Our best players here have always been our hardest workers, guys that put time in when the coaches aren't around. It's very easy to work when coaches are in the gym. It's those guys that sneak back in, pick locks, do all that type of stuff that you did when you were a kid, Matt.
Oh, absolutely.
Get
See what that did for me.
Get your way back into the gym and make yourself a better player.
The good news is Ethan has skills. I don't. So a very distinct difference there. This non-conference schedule, we've already talked about it a fair amount here already, but there are, as you would say, no get-well games on the horizon. It would be easy as a fan. Okay, Marquette game is behind you. You take a deep breath, but you don't with Western Kentucky. Already on that club's resume is a win against Purdue. So I guess we can stop there, trying to tell you how good Western Kentucky is.
Yeah, and we knew when that schedule when that contract got put together, that was going to be an extreme challenge. Like I said, there's just pieces of the schedule that had to come together for this year. That coincidentally fits with a group that's trying to find their way and try to learn and grow. So it'll be an exciting challenge. It'll be a great opportunity for our players. It'll be a great opportunity for our fans to see a really, really good team. And I know they'll differentiate between Western Kentucky and Kentucky. It's not Kentucky coming in, but it's a team that is really, really good. and has obviously played very good basketball so far this year.
When that game is done, the next game is 10 days later against Green Bay. So maybe then, to some extent, you can take a deep breath, but they have this thing called finals that they're also contending.
Yeah, probably going to get more stressful for them than what it's already been. But you know, and that's, again, you got quite a few guys that are going through that for the first time. So we'll it'll be good to get to that point too, and also get a break and really lock in for that 10 days. And they won't have periodical days off, but not a consecutive, a big chunk of days off. We'll do some conditioning and a lot of shooting and those type of things. And then as we get towards the end of finals, start to ramp back up and prepare for Green Bay.
I want to be careful about comparing, as the preface to what I'm about to throw out. To go back again to the first team you guys had here. It was sub 500 for a time, around the middle of December. There were a couple of seniors who started, with Trevon Davis and Charlie Wills. That team got a little more battle-hardened, so to speak. Are you getting that sense with this is a much younger team that you have now,
right?
But are you getting that sense that they're doing a lot of good things to get to those final 2 or 3 minutes here?
Right.
They're getting a little better along the way?
Yeah, I think so. Well, we have to be, or we wouldn't be in those, like I said before, we wouldn't be there with 2 minutes to go, with a minute and a half to go tied, and those type of things. And I think every team has to go through some form of callousing, some way, shape, or form. Almost every team we've had here has hit some adversity. Every team in the country is going to hit it at some point in time. Some hit it sooner than others because you can't get off to such a great start, whether it be schedule, whether it be youth, whatever. But as the season goes on, all those experiences hopefully make you better. And again, once you get calloused up, you kind of become numb to maybe some things that early in the year set you off your tracks. Now when those happen, you keep right on going.
Yeah, it's easy to forget, I think, when you look back at the Final Four team, the 2015 team. Remember, Frank Kaminsky had to miss a game. Trey Jackson had a foot injury. Even that team had to deal with some things that turned out pretty well. Coach Gard returns in a few minutes with our first installment of this basketball season of the Great Day and Great Question of the Week as we continue.
Most people don't know that UW Health and the University of Wisconsin are national leaders in the field of kidney transplant. They provide new life for those who will likely die without a transplant, and they assure a normal life for those who donate. I would know. I donated a kidney, and together, we saved a life.
UW Health. Remarkable.
When it comes to holiday shopping, my wife loves style. My son is all about technology, and my daughter, she just loves horses. Don't you just love one-stop shopping? I do.
Ring in the holidays with Buick. Get up to 20% below MSRP on most 2017 luxury SUV models. That's over $7,100 on this Buick Envision Essence. Experience the new Buick this holiday season.
Must have been some sale, Patty.
Jim just had to have it. We saved hundreds. You?
I had to have this.
Wow.
Love all of this.
It lights up everything.
Let it pro, let it pro, let it pro with a brand new GMC. It's GMC's first ever Denali season to upgrade. Get 15% below MSRP on the full range of 2017 Denali models. That's nearly $12,000 below MSRP on a GMC Yukon XL Denali.
It's not often you see 3 true freshmen on the floor at the same time for the University of Wisconsin. But this freshman class is different than most, as it's the Badgers' highest-ranked class in a decade.
You see a lot of potential. And I've also seen some growth. Going back to June 19th when we first started working out and practicing, getting prepared for New Zealand and Australia, we were excited about the potential. We were excited about the talent level. Now you're starting to see it in the games that matter, the ones that really count. And, it's a promising group. It's an exciting group to coach.
Power forward Nate Reuvers was a consensus top 100 prospect in the country, but he didn't play for the first 5 games of the season as he considered redshirting.
I just had the mindset of I just got to work hard every day, and I was working hard in practice, and coach thought I could help the team, so then he asked me to start playing. That's what I did.
think if I would have had the other mindset of not going out every day, I'd probably still be sitting on the bench.
What we saw was a kid that, was getting it done in practice, doing things that we were asking. Like Coach Ryan used to always say, be a good listener and a quick learner, and that's exactly what he was doing, and that's how you get on the floor. And we're not asking him to come out and score double digits. We're asking him to come out and be solid on defense, to move the ball, to cut, to be a good teammate.
Fellow Minnesota native Brad Davison became a starter in the 4th game of the year against UCLA. He's currently the team's 2nd leading scorer, despite a shoulder injury suffered against Baylor.
I just try not to use it as an excuse. It's still basketball. Just try to do as much as I can with it. When I start playing, I just try to forget about it and just kind of act like it's there. It's not ideal, but something I got to deal with. So I just want to keep playing basketball. There's plays throughout the game that I might get pulled down a little bit. The brace is a little restricting, but it's just kind of natural. It happens. I just really want to be out there. So if I have to wear a brace, it has to restrict me a little bit. I'm all for it.
The 3rd member of the class is lacrosse native Kobe King. Like all freshmen, he knew there would be a big difference making the jump from high school to college.
I've told people before I was 1 through 5 at my school, one of the biggest guys in our conference, and then you come here and there's big Ethan, big Chuck, big Andy. So I'd say just learn how to finish inside over bigger guys and things like that. And defensively, I think just the way we do things and just being able to shut off things and getting my footwork down, I think that's been my biggest improvement since the season started.
I asked King and Reuvers the best advice they got before enrolling at UW, and it's no surprise, their answers were similar.
Stay in the weight room. I mean, kind of knew that coming in, but you kind of learned the hard way when you got Ethan and Chuck and some of those other guys in practice, and they're just bullying you in the post. So it's not fun. And people are just getting layups on you and letting you know about it.
Right after our season ended, my high school coach said, I think attacking the weight room is something that you should do to get you ready. So that whole, after our high school season, I was just in the weight room every day. And I know Coach Gard said, he's like, oh, you look how we thought you were going to look going into sophomore year.
For the Badger Sports Report with Greg Gard, I'm Ryan Wing.
When it comes to holiday shopping, my wife loves style. My son is all about technology, and my daughter, she just loves horses. Don't you just love one-stop shopping? I do.
Ring in the holidays with Buick. Get up to 20% below MSRP on most 2017 luxury SUV models. That's over $7,100 on this Buick Envision Essence. Experience the new Buick this holiday season.
Hi, this is Coach Greg Gard, inviting you to join the Badger Basketball Booster Club. As a member of the Booster Club, you will have the opportunity to participate in a variety of great events, including pregame chalk talks, golf outings, and an away game bus trip. The Boosters play a vital role in assisting our staff and student athletes through fundraising and sponsorship. For additional information on joining the club, please call 608-265-6161. There's no better way to show your support than to join the Badger Basketball Boosters.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
This is what collaboration looks like. This is what happens when a cardiologist in Appleton works step in step with specialists at UW Health in Madison. You see, when Terry's condition required a second opinion, his doctor turned to the cardiothoracic team at UW Health. Together, we made sure Terry got the care and the heart transplant he needed. Powerful minds, compassionate care, amazing results. UW Health, remarkable.
The Badger Sports Report is brought to you by UW Health. UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Time now for our great day and great question of the week, and it's Tim from La Crosse checking in. Wants to know, Coach, with so many younger, less experienced players, does that change your approach in how you coach these guys?
In terms of expectations, no. And Tim, thanks for your question, but
you do have to be, you find yourself in teaching mode a lot more. Going back to, that's right, they haven't been in this position before. We haven't covered this. We have to reteach some things, remind, and our younger guys have done a great job of absorbing and really paying attention and trying to pick up as much as they can, as fast as they can. But at the same time, you balance patience with persistence, and you hold them accountable, you keep pushing, you keep teaching, you keep demanding, but at the same time, we understand that we've got to continue to stay positive and build confidence and understand that a lot of these guys 6 months ago were in high school or were not in this. It's not only our freshmen, other guys that have not been in the positions that they're in right now, whether it's starting or the minutes they have. A lot of new experiences for everybody on the roster.
All right, Tim, thank you very much for your question. There is the Great Dane up in Wausau, 4 in the Madison area on the east side of town, downtown Fitchburg, as well as Hilldale. Coach Gard's radio show picks up again this Tuesday night, 7 o'clock this week, otherwise 6 o'clock during the course of the season, but 7 o'clock this Tuesday, December 12th, over at the Great Dane Hilldale. Badgers continue the non-conference schedule at home on Wednesday night, taking on Western Kentucky. Tip time set for 7 o'clock Central Time. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
Honoring all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. Every division, every sport, the Learfield Directors Cup. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook, find us online and on Twitter. The Learfield Directors Cup.
Ready, Tim?
Let's do this. Was that Mike? That's Harry. The car stopped for me.
And that's automatic emergency braking.
The Nissan Rogue family. Take on today.
Bottom line, they still can't touch you.
I'll take it.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one.